Everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Anubhuti and I love to talk about everything beauty related. I love to do product reviews and I love to get use out of my makeup collection more efficiently and not necessarily buy that everything is new in the market. And I do participate in a lot of project bans and I do share my project banning journey here on YouTube. So if those are the things you are interested in, please make sure to subscribe before jumping into today's video. As you know from the title, today I'm here with my No Pan Left Behind project pan update for month of June. And also it's a little bit warm here today in the Netherlands. Yeah, I have a different, also it's too bright. So I am in a different angle of filming. But yeah, out of the way, No Pan Left Behind is a project pan where you pick a number of eyeshadow palettes and then you have to use each eyeshadow in that eyeshadow palette at least one time to call it No Pan Left Behind done. And then you roll it out and roll something else in its place. So I have been randomizing 3 eyeshadow palettes as part of this project from my collection, and I do No Pan Left Behind on those and then roll them out and roll something else in its place. Also, I have been tracking my usage outside this project. So then the palettes that I'm reaching on its own, like even they are not in project, but if I'm reaching for a palette, I do try to No Pan Left Behind it before I put it back. So I'm also tracking my those uses and then I share also in the end of the progress which palette I used reached for No Pan Left Behind outside this project. So that's just the way I am doing it. Now let's talk about the palettes that are part of this project before, and then I'm going to talk about the palette progress in order they were rolled into the project. Let's talk about the first palette, that is Pat McGrath Gilded Nirvana, and this is last year's holiday palette. This is how it looks like. This has been here since my introduction of this project, and last month I think I had to reach for a couple of shades only from this palette, so I did call it a rollout last update and roll a new palette in its place. But I'm going to still talk about the progress because it was not No Pan Left Behind done. There was still a couple of shades left from this palette. So let's talk about the usage. I did reach for this palette approximately 6 times. And then let's talk about Pink Venus. It has 3 uses: Liquid Sky 1 use, Cherry Noir 1 use, and then Golden Lyrics 1 use. Sorry, this is very pretty. Actually reached for it 2 times. Then Moonlit Mauve I reached for it 3 times. Cosmic Orchid I reached for 1 time. Then Bronze Aura 1 time. Then this one, Mauve Mystique, this is a kind of satiny matte shade. I reached for it 3 times. Then Nude Nirvana, this is a matte shade. I did reach for it 4 times. Then Platinum Bronze 1 time, Aquamarine Allure 1 time, and Noir Nebula 1 time. So then this is finally No Pan Left Behind done, and I'm calling this, yeah, I already rolled it out last update, but I did want to make sure that I have reached for it enough. So this is No Pan Left Behind done. Now let's talk about the palettes that are here since last update. So then let's talk about Charlotte Tilbury Smoky Eyes Are Forever. This is here since month of I'm looking in my notes, sorry, I think I need to shuffle. Second palette I want to talk about is Charlotte Tilbury Smoky Eyes Are Forever, and this is the holiday palette from long back. I don't know which year, I don't remember, but this is how it looks like. I love this formula of Charlotte Tilbury that comes in this kind of packaging. I have 2 of them, Smoky Eyes Are Forever and Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotize, those 2 palettes, and I love them. They travel with me every time I go to India, especially because these are perfect for like festive looks, and the 2 palettes are enough for me most of the time. So yeah, let's talk about the usage. I did reach for this palette 5 times. Again, this also I reached for 5 times. Let's talk about the first shade I reached for 2 times. second shade I reach for 1 time, third shade I reach for 3 times. Most of the time I end up reaching for this one for inner corner because this is such a pop sparkle shade. Then in the fourth shade I reach for 2 times, fifth I reach for 1 time, and sixth shade I reach for 3 times. This is perfect for the lower lash line. Also I like to add it in the outer corner. Then we have the shade, this is also I reach for 3 times, this I reach for 1 time, this reach for 1 time, and then last 3 shades also I reach for one each. This is my least reached trio inside this palette, and this is probably my most, these 6 are my most used shades. So yeah, this is also No Pan Left Behind done, and this is also rolling out. So this is the first rollout, this update. Now let's talk about the next palette, which is Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Wars eyeshadow palette. This is the newer format of the holiday palette she does. I think this was from 2024. She did not do anything last year. I don't know. Yeah, she did those faces in the eyes palettes kind of thing. Or this is from 2023. Don't remember, but yeah, this is how it looks like. So then I have not done No Pan Left Behind on this one so far. I reached for it only 1 time, and I created my eye looks using the 4 shades you can see. So I reached for this shade 1 time, this shade 1 time, and then here 1 and 1. So I have reached for only 4 shades so far. I also have to reach for 5 more shades in order to roll it out. So this is staying in. Last palette that was part of the project, that is also from last update, and this is Natasha Denona Mini Nude palette. Pretty basic palette. I am always, whenever I reach for this palette, I'm always like, this doesn't excite me. This is a favorite palette for a lot of people, and this doesn't excite me because this is very boring. But whenever I reach for it, especially this shade, this is my favorite from this palette. This is super duper stunning shade. This is what I have on my eyes today, this palette. Whenever I use it, I like it, and then I feel like, okay, it's boring maybe, but I end up liking the look. It's pretty basic, easy to reach for palette, so I have decided to keep it in my collection. This is also my chopping block. I was contemplating, should I pass it on to other people, because a lot of people love the shades, but then I am still going to keep it till end of this year. If I don't reach for it again till end of this year, then this might be a declutter, but for now this is staying in. I have reached for it for 3 times so far, and yeah, let's talk about the usage. The first one is Bronze, and that I reached for 3 times. Then Coin that I reached for 3 times. Lumino I reached for 3 times. The shade that is called Sienna, I reached for it 4 times. And the last shade is called Soil, and that I reached for 3 times. So yeah, I did reach for this palette 5 times, and 4 times, and I did love it a lot. So this is also rolling out. Now let's talk about the palettes that I reached outside this project. So far we have 2 rollouts as part of the project, and now talk about the palettes I reached for outside this project to do No Pan Left Behind. First one is Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Quad. This is pretty basic, very small quad. It has all the metallic shades. This has all the metallic shades. Pretty basic, but I love it. This is super smooth formula. This formula is same as what is there in the longer format. So this is also a limited edition quad. I love it, and I reach for all the shades 2 times. So this is the first palette that is No Pan Left Behind done outside the project. Second palette is ABH Carly Bible palette, and this was, I think, part of some project, I don't remember, but this palette I reached for 5 times in total. And then I want to talk about the shade by shade. So then first shade is called Boli, that I reached for 1 time. The second shade is Bible, that I reached for 3 times. Then Mandala I reached for 2 times. Libra I reached for 1 time. Jode I reached for 2 times. OA I reached for 1 time, and Boy I reach for 1 time. Then Bear, I reach for 3 times. Moo, I reach for 2 times. Chai, I reach for 2 times. Cindy, 1 time. Steph, 1 time. Aura and My Angels, one time each. So this is also a palette that I did no pan left behind outside this project. I love this palette. I love these tones, and I will probably keep it pulled for some more time because this is what I like to wear in the summer season, especially these shades. So yeah, this is the second palette, and the third palette I want to talk about is Adapt Cosmetics Amy Loves palette. This is also, I have done no pan left behind. So this is this palette also I reached for 5 times. And then we have Lights Up, one use, Pink, 1 use on it, Mocha, 1 use on it, Floral, 1 use on it, Glam, 2 usage on it, Pisces, 1 use on it, 1997, 1 use on it, Lavender, 2 usage on it. This is a very beautiful shade. Mi Amor, 1 time. Indie, 2 usage. In the last row we have Stunning, 1 use, Caramel, 1 use, Billion Much, 1 use, Vibes, 2 uses, and Scrunchy, 1 use. So this is also no pan left behind done outside this project. So those are all the palettes. In total I reached for 7 palettes to do no pan left. 6 palettes to do no pan left behind last month, which is a good thing, and I'm also halfway through some of the palettes I'm working on. So as part of the project we have 2 rollouts. One is Charlotte Tilbury Smoky Eyes Are Forever and Natasha Denona Mini Nude, and one palette that is staying in the project is Charlotte Tilbury Beautyverse palette. So that means we need to roll 2 new palettes in. Let me open my Tiny Decisions app, and then we can randomize. Let's do first palette roll in. That is Yves Saint Laurent Couture Mini Clutch Palette 500 YSL. Okay, that's a quad. And then the second palette randomization is Kaja Beauty Vento 01 Rose Water. Okay, I got lucky this time. We have that is a trio, so that is also a smaller palette. Let me grab both of the palettes and I will be back. So I am back with both the palettes. The first palette was first roll in is YSL Couture Mini Clutch in the shade 500 Medina Glow, and this is how it looks like. This is a quad, which is kind of warm rosy tones, so that is how it looks like. Yes, this is going to be the first roll in today, and then the second one is Kaja 01 Bento Beauty Vento in the Rose Water, and these are the 3 shades basically, and I think all 3 are the metallics, if I'm not wrong. Yes, so this is first shade, the second one is this one, and then the last one is a deeper. So these are all rose toned metallics. So yeah, these are going to be 2 new roll-ins. Just to recap, the 3 palettes that I will be working on no pan left behind as part of the project. First one is Charlotte Tilbury Beautyverse for 5 more shades I have to reach for to call it a no pan left behind. Then YSL Medina Glow, and then the last one is Kaja Beauty Vento in Rose Water. So yeah, that is it for today's update. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you will be notified whenever I upload a new video. And sorry about the lighting is off, but this is the best I can do today. And I did want to film it today because I do have a little bit of time. So I hope you have a good day, good night, depending on wherever you are, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.